Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo, and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
What's up?
What's going on? What's up?
Hey, man, this week is a lot better. I know last time we was on, I was feeling a little under the weather, so I'm back.
You want me to tell you how you sounded?
I
sounded like this. This is Scotty B. Yeah, you sound. It was crazy. You sounded like your name was Poindexter. With all due respect, of course. To all due respect to the Poindexters out there in the world, that's what Scotty sounded like. But this off the record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's boy Scotty B.
So yeah, we had a pretty eventful week. You know, last week, like you said, you was a little under the weather, but you pushed through like a champ. And we talked a lot about, you know, football, basketball, and a little bit of baseball. I guess before we get into the sports and before we introduce our guests, I guess, how was your week?
Oh, week was good. Definitely flew by. So I think I was talking to somebody this weekend. Don't really have too many plans. It's going to play it by ear. So those are always the best weekends, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I ain't doing. So we had a game last week. We did take a loss. So we're 1-1 on the season. I think I'm gonna give like a Royals update every week. We 1-1. And we play this week, and we play on Sunday, so that should be a good matchup. We play a team that's won, you know, a number of championships, so they coming from DC, so we'll see what we could do, make it work.
So I got a question.
Where
can I purchase a sweatshirt before the game on Sunday? So
well,
out there, people know who I'm rooting for, you know.
So the team store will be up probably early next week, but before the game, well, you're going to be at the game, and we'll have a table set up at the game where you can get a sweatshirt, t-shirt, may get a towel, you know, one of those things. But yeah, you know, VirginiaRoyals.com. That we'll have the gear up there soon. Actually, I got this hoodie on. CC. Yay!
Yeah, I'm trying to get one of those. Yeah,
I can make that happen. You're my guy, Scott. I'll make sure you got a Virginia Royals hoodie, man. I'll make sure of it.
Y'all got hats too?
Eventually, I like wearing my Cowboys hat because I'm gonna get on the guest today because she said only time people wear Cowboys hats is if they're fans. They don't wear it for fashion, and I kind of took offense to that. But we'll talk about that later. You know, we'll talk about that later. I probably shouldn't have. No. Yeah, we'll talk about it later because, you know. But so yeah, where you want to start? NFL.
Start with the NFL.
All right, so we see a lot of moves been made. You know, just when you think that the coaching carousel was over, Bruce Arians retires from coaching. He goes to the front office, and they hire Todd Bowles, which is pretty dope. You know, I don't know who if they announce who the DC will be now, unless he's doing double duty. But now they have a black head coach and a black offensive coordinator. And that's pretty dope. It's kind of what Bruce Arians kind of does. I think he was the first one to hire a woman assistant coach. You know, he had two black coordinators when they won the Super Bowl and last year. And now he has a black head coach, black OC. What are your thoughts?
So I've got a lot of questions surrounding this. All right. So the first question is, people are saying that he stepped down because there's a rift between him and Tom Brady. Do you believe that?
No. I think that you have your disagreements, player coach, but I'm sure that he's had a disagreement with pretty much everybody. I don't think that that's the case.
All right. My next question is, why not Byron Leftwich? Why Todd Bowles over Byron Leftwich?
Well, Todd Bowles has head coaching experience already. And I get it. You could have went Byron Leftwich, but he, I think Todd Bowles is coming into a good situation. And again, he's had experience, and he wasn't bad as a head coach, and he was up for other head coaching positions, just like Byron Leftwich. But if you get to keep both of them, why not?
Yeah, I mean, he's walking into probably the best coaching option that you can have. Now, the expectations are going to be super high as far as, having all the pieces and bringing back everybody. But normally when you walk into a coaching opportunity, it's a pretty crappy situation that you have to fix.
Right.
They're not bringing you in because they're in Super Bowl contention. They're bringing you in because something isn't working, and the other guy a lot of times got fired. So now it is good for the Tampa organization. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if Tom Brady and Bruce Arians have the best relationship. I don't know if that entered into him retire. Brady retiring, coming back, Bruce Arians being out. The timing of it seems a little bit different, right? Because normally, like if you're going to coach, you realize, like, what, this might be my last season. It almost, and I'm just throwing this out there, looks like that Brady said, "The hell with it. If this guy is still the coach," and the front office may have reached back to him, was like, "Well, what would it take to get you back?" And he probably said, "I want a different coach other than Bruce Arians." And they kindly said, "Hey, Bruce, we'll keep you in the front office. You can ride off into the sunset. We'll give you what I call the parachute landing, right? It's not like where they like just throw you out the plane. They give you a parachute so that to make sure that you land on your feet in some instance." But I think it's something there.
I mean, you make some good points. So my thing is this, though: why even keep him in the organ? If you're gonna ask him to leave, why even keep him in an organization?
Because you gotta give him the parachute landing so he goes quietly. Bad publicity is bad for everybody. So if I tell you,
really,
well, if I spin it like you're kind of getting some sort of promotion, which they make up positions for everybody across the nation, whatever organization. I say, okay, yeah, we're going to keep you on as a front office consultant, which basically could translate to don't come into the building, and we'll still pay you. It's the parachute landing, like you get to go out, you get to act like you're moving aside because you're setting up an opportunity for somebody else, and everything is peachy.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I get that. I definitely get that. Yeah, you want to hear a fun fact?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a coach on the Tampa Bay Bucks coaching staff that actually coached me.
Oh wow.
Yep. And it's a she. The D-line coach, she was one of the coaches when I Coach Locust, Coach Lowe, is what we call her. And she coached the D-line with the DMV Elite. She's coached arena football, and she went through the whole process when they had some of the other things, but I think they were doing like a coaching convention in Baltimore, and she went, and I mean she killed it, and I mean she won the Super Bowl. So but yeah, so and the crazy thing, Bruce Arians gave it opportunity. So is there something there with Brady and Arians? Probably. Is it a big deal? I don't think so. I don't think that is as big a deal as some people may think. I don't think it's the reason why he retired either. And they say, he was at the press conference the other day, and he said it wasn't. So I mean, I think you can only take these guys at their word, but their word means about that much when it comes to the media. So I mean, other than that, of course, I don't know if that changes what the Bucks projections will be. I think some people still have them winning that. Well, of course they have them winning that division, but I don't think that Todd Bowles becoming the coach hurts them any.
Oh no, it doesn't hurt them. I mean, if you look at this, most teams would be, just beside themselves losing their coach 4 weeks before the draft. But
right,
if you've got the right pieces that have been in place really since the beginning, they don't miss a beat. I think too, they're still one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, you bring back Tom Brady, you bring back virtually the same roster, you make a few moves here and there, and the division that they play in has gotten worse.
That's an understatement.
So nobody's going to stop them there. You still got the Rams out there, but I think I think most people would agree the Bucks can compete with the Rams, and they can compete with Green Bay, and that's really who's in their way in the NFC. I mean, you got teams like 49ers and Dallas and stuff. I think even as much as fans as we are, we will say the Bucks are competition for those two teams.
Yeah. The Bucks, but the Rams, they just bless you.
Oh, thank you.
You
are good though.
You are.
Yes, I'm good.
The Rams just picked up another All-Pro. They picked up Bobby Wagner. So they have a first-team All-Pro on each level of their defense. Yo,
I mean, we're talking about Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that Tampa 2000s teams where they had like Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, and Lynch.
John Lynch,
yeah.
I mean, Rondé Barber was there too.
Yeah, it's the same type of deal that they got going with the Rams. I mean, if Bobby Wagner just resembles anything that he's done throughout his career, I mean, look out. I know a lot of people don't consider it an upgrade, but I mean, Von Miller, I mean, they lost him, but they got Bobby Wagner. That's right. To me, it's an upgrade.
Crazy. All right, we'll talk about that more a little later. But let's get to our guests. So we're recording this a little later. Women's History Month had just passed. Of course, earlier this month, we had Janiyah, my daughter, come on here. She chose her school, where she was going to college. So I figured we'll close the month out and start a new month, by having another woman, a great woman. She's in the tech world, and we're gonna let her tell her story. We're gonna introduce Courteney Washington, aka the phone lady. How you doing?
Hey everybody. Good morning.
How you feel?
Amazing.
I like that nickname, the phone lady. Aunt beat me to the punch. I was definitely going to refer to you as the phone lady.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When people couldn't remember my name, they would save me in their phones as like the phone lady. So I would only know this because I'm like finished repairing the phone and then I would send a test call. And I'm looking at what pops up in their contacts as me, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's just the phone lady.
Wow.
Whatever works. So whatever works, so I
Absolutely.
took it around with it.
So tell us a little bit about what you actually do.
I have a concierge repair business. Very fancy. So what it is, I convenience the pretty much the modern day person.
Mhm.
So since everybody's so busy, to stop and take your electronics to a shop for however amount of hours, potentially days, can be an inconvenience. So back in 2006, I started working on electronics, but it was 2012 when I decided to really take it more seriously and um, start ramping up and conveniencing people on just coming to wherever they're at to
Mhm.
fix their electronics. So phones were number one for a long time,
Mhm.
hence why the phone lady. But it's, phones, tablets, game systems, computers. I even had people ask me to fix like appliances for them, random things, ring lights, stuff like that. So you need yours fixed.
No,
Okay.
Scott, fix his ring light, man.
Oh, his is broken.
No, I
Yeah.
know. Well, Scott, is your ring light broke still?
My ring light is not broke, but
Okay. All right, my bad.
He's like, what are you talking about?
My bad.
So
It's
yeah,
just always
there's just
false.
depends on what it is. Like if I can't fix it, I just tell people that. But
okay.
for the most part, there's really not a lot I can't do. Yeah, I'm pretty diverse in my work.
So I got a question. Okay, so you mentioned that you live in the 757 area. How far does your business like expand? Like, do you go beyond the 757 area, or how does
Yes.
it work?
Yeah, so I cover all of Hampton Roads and Richmond.
Okay.
So since I'm in Williamsburg, I am like smack in the middle. So 40 minutes that way or 40 minutes this way, either way, you're covered.
So,
What?
my
Oh, go
fault.
ahead. Sorry. Go,
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Scott.
So you mentioned that you've been doing this basically since 2012. What different changes have you seen in your business since you've been doing it?
In my business or in the in
I
the
guess in the
field.
industry as a whole.
Whew. In the industry, I will say on a social level, I notice how much more impatient people are. People are very impatient because
Yeah, I think she froze.
Yeah, she froze.
Well, all right, there you go.
I was like, oh no, oh no. So yes, instant gratification, people always wanted it yesterday, but that's kind of been everything for life. But the further we move into the convenience of how electronics have become integrated in our lives, uh, I noticed that people have an unrealistic expectation on getting services. Um, so on a social level, that has flipped. You see people in the club or outings and they're on the phone. It's like what there's people sitting next to you.
Right.
Like you're not gonna. Mm-mm.
It's different
Everybody's like this.
and it's weird. So let me ask you this: what is the most complicated thing you had to fix, repair, upgrade?
Mm. So periodically I'll go to Richmond to visit one of my clients.
Mhm.
It's a business account. So this is just something I only see them pretty much quarterly or unless they have like a severe breakdown, then I go service their server room. So if you walk into the room, it's like the size of most people's apartments, if not bigger. And all they have is racks of servers. And it just so happens one of the days I was in there, they were having an issue with a rodent and nobody knew. And it was chewing through one of the wires, but it wasn't like it was having a fight with the machine. It was just trying to get into a place,
Mm-hmm.
so it could, I guess, maybe get back into the walls or crawl space, wherever. And while I was in there, um, one of the wires snapped, uh, and the whole place, it kind of freaked me out because at that same time I was working on something, and I was like, and I had to explain to them, like, I don't think this was a me thing. And then when they figured out what it was, they saw the chew marks. But they asked me to stay and help them fix it. And
Sheesh.
even though it took a few days, because it was a lot of damage, like what you had to do just to fix the problem was a lot. One guy got electrocuted pretty bad, but that's because he didn't know what he was doing. Um, but after a few days, um, we finally got it done, but the check was nice. So it was something I hadn't really done before.
Right, right.
So, and I wasn't exactly gonna make it seem like I didn't know what I was doing, but I was following the lead of their lead IT to show me what they wanted done, and we got it done.
Nice.
So because everyday consumer stuff like phones and game systems and stuff like that, I've just now at this point been doing it so long. Uh, I'll tell you if it's junk or if I'm willing to work on it.
Right.
I don't give myself headaches.
So that's a pretty wide range of skills. You kind of made it sound easy, but no, I'm serious.
No, I know.
As a hardware technician, because that's one extreme, to fixing phones and computers and game consoles is extreme. To go into somebody's essentially their data hall and fix machines that are serving and supporting the infrastructure of that company and be able to figure it out on the fly. That's huge in the IT world, which I'm not even going to get into that. But what I will ask you, and I've been seeing this, I guess, with African Americans, a lot of people do not know that these jobs exist. How did you get into this field? And if somebody was aspiring to do what you are doing, what recommendations would you have for them?
Figure out what in the field you like to do, because some people like to sit in front of a computer and do this. I will, but I'm not passionate about that. I'm passionate about what you see behind me, and that's hardware. I'm under a microscope, hot tools. Like, I like to create and fix hardware. So there's the hardware, software side, and then there's people who like to play investigator. So if you like to solve crimes, there's physics. Personally, I knew that this was something I wanted to do since I was a kid. I started gutting my toys as a child, attempting to put them back together. Didn't always work out. Um, but my dad always knew where to find his tools. And so when I got older, it was like I just started seeing from actually working in retail. I was working for Alltel Wireless. And
Wow.
if y'all remember them, yeah, I take it back to the flip phones, repairing those. Like, I'm an OG in this. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah,
Yeah.
fixing the flip phones, fixing the Blackberries. It goes all the way back to that. So when I started seeing how things were changing, I knew that at least I want to do hardware for sure. But then I started to take a little more interest in the cybersecurity side. One, for that check. You can enter without a degree into the technical field, starting out 70, 80 with certifications that if you're disciplined, you can sit down and get in a matter of a couple months.
Wow.
So it just depends on how bad do you want it.
That's what's up. So I I like your background, and you're in your office, right?
Yeah.
So initially,
In my
when
lab. It's not an office, it's a lab.
I'm sorry. You know
Lab.
what? Horns for the lab. Hold on, let's get some horns. so because me when I first saw it, I was like, she's in the store, right? It looks like I thought it was like a wireless phone store, but that is amazing. So creating your lab. What are some of the tools you use in your lab? Because I know you do I know you travel, but do you do work at your home as well, or I'm sorry, in your lab as well, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble.
Sorry. Yes, I do a lot of work from home. Especially like if I buy electronics to intentionally refurbish to resell, that's when I'm really in my lab. I got about 4 PlayStations, a few Macs, few PCs.
Sheesh.
Up behind me, up there, y'all see that gutted Mac like right behind the top of my head.
Yeah, we see
You know what? I found that walking through your woods. I was walking through Chinatown in New York. Well, you're from Jersey, excuse me. Excuse me. I was walking through Chinatown and I saw these ladies dumpster diving, and I was like, what do we have in here? And I saw the pedestal of it, like the bottom of it, and I was like, I know that's not what I think it is. Man, I pulled that thing out the trash and found out that's what it was. I was like, it was coming with me. And the little Asian ladies, they was tight. They were following down behind me like they wanted to do something. Like, what did she take? Like, it's too late. I've got it already.
Oh,
It's mine.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, I refurbish things. I work a lot from home when I have customers who give me stuff. They're like, no rush, Courtney, just do it at your leisure. So I take advantage of that.
nah, that's what's up. So I have a 2010 Mac, right?
Here we go.
No, this is no. Cause I want. So you already know the cameras on the Macs are terrible on any laptop. You definitely have to use a different camera. So that's considered like an outdated Mac, right? From 2010, it's pretty outdated. You would say, right? Oh well, people would say maybe not you. Can you
Just depends on what you do with it.
Okay, so can you bring it to life to where it could be comparable to the current Macs, or is it too outdated? Or is something like that? It's just too outdated where you couldn't really like you feel like yeah, actually I am. So can that one be brought back to like life? It still works. Like it works, but it's just like the program or the software is just like outdated.
So for the most part, it just depends on what you want to do with it. So
Okay.
since you have a podcast channel, radio, I would not recommend using that only because there's going to be certain software or browsers and things of that nature that you're going to have to use that the hardware and software do not match. They have to match for you to be able to use it.
Gotcha.
So, but if you're going to be doing it like, hey, I'm typing a paper, I'm browsing the web periodically, it's fine. You
Okay.
know. Mm-hmm. Is
All
that
right.
what you want to do? You need another Mac? Because I've got some.
I need another map. You got them for the low? You got them for sale?
We could work out a deal right now. That's what I said.
Oh my god! All right, so this is a sport. You know what? We'll get to the sports. We'll get to the sports in a moment. Let's get to the winner of the week.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right. So this week, our winner of the week is Will Smith and Chris Rock. Some of you may ask, why is it both of them? I just think overall, regardless of the stance that you take, if Will was in the right, Chris Rock was in the right, it was just a bad look for our culture. If you don't know what happened, Will Smith smacked Chris Rock at the Oscars. And it was just a 52-year-old man open hand smacking a 57-year-old man on national TV. It was a bad look for everybody. Well, what are your thoughts on this, Ant? Because I know everybody's had an opinion on it. What are your thoughts?
You know, before I give my thoughts. I think that I agree that it is a bad look for our culture. One of the things I feel like it could have been handled differently. Will Smith could have definitely. So I personally think that he had. I don't want to say demons, but he had some things going on in his head that he probably needs to talk to someone, right? That he's probably had built up, and it's just built up for all over like the last 5-10 years or even longer. That is just built up, and he just unleashed on Chris Rock. I think that he could have handled it different. Like even with everything that he yelled out after he slapped Chris Rock, he could have yelled that initially instead of going in. Or they have a number of commercial breaks. Will Smith is Will Smith. He could have during the commercial break went up to him and checked him like, "Yo, this is my wife. Blah 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 blah. Don't let it happen again." And now if Chris Rock goes on and does it again, now you handle it how you have to handle it. But I think that it was wrong for him to do that on TV. I don't care about the Academy Awards and all. I don't care about that because even if it was the BET Awards, the Hoodie Award, whatever it was, I don't care what award show it was. It's Will Smith, Chris Rock. So this would have got publicity no matter what award show. It just happens to be the Oscars. I feel like that. I feel like Will Smith is lucky that Chris Rock ain't especially once he turned his back. Knock him on his ass. But you give Chris Rock props for ultimately keeping the show going on, and having the patience and the wherewithal to say, you know what, I'll handle it when I have a chance to handle it. Because I don't think for one second that he thought that when he saw Will Smith coming up there that Will Smith was going to do that. I don't think even though the history between Chris Rock and Will Smith or Jada Pinkett Smith isn't the greatest. I don't think that Chris Rock saw that coming. So I think that they both were wrong in their own different way, but I do think that Will Smith was wronger, if that's even a word. I just felt like he was more wrong. But that's my thoughts on it.
What are your thoughts, Courtney?
So I never found Chris Rock funny, and even if she was not dealing with the situation of alopecia, it was like that really bad joke where it's like, "Boo-doo." Like, why even crack the joke? It's not even funny. But that's you, Chris, because you've never been funny to me. All you do is yell and curse. There's no real, like, you're a decent actor, but not a stand-up. But as far as like the moralistic side of it, Will shouldn't wait until he's ready to pop, because he allegedly, someplace I saw this where he had kind of reached his point. Like, he was tired of disrespect. Like, this was someone who was live in front of him, taking the time to make a joke about his wife on live television, one of the most watched moments in history other than the Super Bowl. Like, we're talking not millions of viewers, but billions of people watching. And you took the time to humiliate her for the sake of a really corny joke. And you embarrass my man in front of live television, I might just come for you too. But at the same time, he should have been checking people before. Don't wait until the last minute. Like, if you got to make it like publicly known, like, all right, he's handling people behind this situation, let me not go there. But Chris felt like free range. Everybody else is doing it, so why not? So in a devil's advocate type of way, it's like a piece of me is like, nah, you shouldn't have did it like that. But at the same time, a lot of us do understand because they've been the butt of a lot of people's jokes consistently for the past 3 years, ever since her entanglement. And to me, Jada has a narcissistic way about how she comes across, but she tries to make it seem like, oh, I'm just so transparent and I want people to know that we're normal people too. We already know that, but you don't have to put out all of your marriage information and private business for your audience to know that you guys are just people. You're just people with a lot of money and cameras in your face
Mm-hmm.
all the time. So, I mean, would I want my man to come to my defense? Absolutely, but I'm not trying to make my man's not going to take no L's behind that either. So, but if we're gonna really have to take L's, we're gonna take it together. So
What's
that's my
interesting, if
take.
you guys kind of touched on it, is if you haven't had the opportunity to read Will Smith's biography, please read it. He talks about this months because his biography came out probably about 3-4 months ago, and he talked about these demons that he had been having that had been
Mhm.
hunting him really his entire life. I believe in the opening chapter it talks about like how he's always perceived himself as a coward, and it stems from watching his father beat on his mom, and he's always felt that he's used like his comedy to like really like cover up and mask a lot of his like internal like feelings or to dissolve situations or to gain that approval from people. Just hey, if I laugh with them or if I make them laugh, they're gonna approve of me, and that's been something that he highlighted was one of the I guess critiques by his wife of their marriage is that she always felt like he did things to get a reaction opposed to them being the right thing. And
Mm.
that's something that he's battled back and forth with her. And if you look at it, his initial reaction was he was laughing at the joke with everybody
Mhm.
else. He looked over at her, and then I guess he could tell by the way that she reacted. And going off of what he's written, I don't know Jada personally or whatnot, that was going to be another time that she was going to point to him as an example of, hey, this is the opportunity for you to really protect this family, to really do what you need to do, but you're laughing because it's appeasing the crowd. So I think that all that combined triggered him to say, you know what, I've got to make a decision, and I've got to go up there and I've got to defend my family. And he just went about it the wrong way, and it didn't matter what the cost was. Um, Very interesting point. But what I want to ask both of you guys is, if that comedian had been white, would he have done the same thing?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it depends on who the comedian is. I think it depends on who the comedian is because
Steinfeld, Jerry Steinfeld.
probably not. I don't know about Seinfeld because Seinfeld is not that. You think he would have slapped Seinfeld?
Did you see? Do you remember when Will Smith smacked that white guy before?
What when
Yeah.
he tried to kiss him? Was the white guy that tried to kiss him?
Well, it's two instances, right? This is his second instance.
Do I think he gonna smack a white comedian? I think anybody's bound to cap the smacks. Like the smacks were being handed out like snacks. Like here's a snack for you. Everybody's getting. He was at his breaking point. I think the breaking point didn't have a boundary of race. I think it was more like a this was on national television and she looking at me like she gonna divorce me after tonight if I don't get up there and do it. So I don't know.
So something that he talks about in his book, which I found a little interesting, was that the thing that always got under his skin more is when people used to call him a soft rapper. So he said that he would punch people that claimed that he was soft and just like run behind like his security Like he would just like somebody would say he was soft. He punch him like he slapped Chris Rock and then let his security like take care of the person. And he's been doing this for like years. And then no, I can't make this up.
I have to read the book now.
Yeah, you gotta read
read
it. He talks about like basically like anybody, like people would be like, yo, you that soft fresh prince. And he would just like punch him. Like everywhere he be in the mall, somebody walk up to him, say that, he punch him. And then his security handle him. He had another instance when he was playing Ali. Denzel Washington was in Training Day, and you remember the white guy that played in Training Day with him, right? So they said he walked up on Will Smith and was like, "Yo, you have no chance of winning like the Oscar. You know, it's gonna go to like Denzel." They say he two-pieced him. No, look it up. They said he two-pieced him.
Hey, so what you're saying is Will has anger issues.
Everybody is like, that
anybody's bound to get the smacks. Everyone's a candidate. Everyone's
like this to do, but it's really not new. It's just the first. I mean, think about it like this, right? When he walked up there, open smack Chris Rock, open hand smacked him. It was a level of comfort with that. Like the walk up and open hand smack somebody. Number one, you already know that they're not going to defend themselves, right? Because most people are going to try to punch you. They're going to try to lay you out. When you open hand smack somebody, that means number one, you're trying to embarrass them. But number two, more importantly, you don't think they're going to defend themselves. Like you're basically saying, like, you know what? I can walk up to this person and smack them, and they're not going to do anything back. Like you're not even worried about getting a counter punch or anything like that. Right. I mean, he walked up to him and squared off on him with perfect form.
He said, Chris said, uh-oh.
Chrissy in the joint come in, he said,
uh-oh.
And I mean, he got up on him at a perfect distance. I mean, most of the time, because we get, as you get older and you see people fight, they like don't connect anymore. Like most of the time when somebody swings, like you see them swing in the air, you like, man, somebody get somebody drunk uncle over here.
Daggone facts. And you know what? I wanted to make sure I put out there real quick about this topic. It is so interesting to me that the Academy, they make themselves sound. Anyways, the Academy said, we don't condone violence. We don't. But they pre-recorded this situation on Friday and aired it on Sunday. If y'all were not in support of what happened, then why give it airtime? We all know why you gave it airtime, because for every person who flicks on their television and puts it on that channel to watch this, you're getting a check. So while they're on one hand saying that this isn't something they condone, but they will for the ratings and for the profit, absolutely. It's always about that coin. I just wanted to make sure I put that out there because the hypocrisy is baffling.
I will say this: we all disagree on whether or not he would have smacked Steinfeld, but I can guarantee you, if he would have smacked Steinfeld, he wouldn't have been sitting in the seat for the rest of the show.
That's true.
And then they tried to say that they tried to get him to leave, but he wouldn't leave. Since when has that stopped white people from getting black people to move? Like what? They would have called security so fast. So, all right. So let me ask you this. So, this is a sports show, and we're gonna get your thoughts on a few things in sports. Have you been keeping up with some of the football world? Because I have a question I need to ask you.
Well, I will grab my cell phone. Right
so,
here.
So let me ask you this. Are you familiar with Deshaun Watson? You might not need your phone for that. You might not need your phone for that one. All right. Are you are you familiar with what's been going on in his situation?
No, to be honest with you, no, I don't.
Okay. All right. So he got accused by 22 women of
Whoa.
I guess you would say sexual misconduct, right?
Okay.
Because he is from they were masseuses and he was getting like he was getting massages, and some were saying that he would flip over and say, here you go. It's story, so it's story is a so it's stories. Hey yo, y'all gotta chill out. It's stories like that that's that have been coming out. So a couple of weeks ago, he was they said he wouldn't get indicted, so he wouldn't be found, he wouldn't be criminally charged, but they still have civil suits out there, which me personally, I'm not gonna say it was all for the money, but I'm gonna say it has something to do with some money, because it was the irony of when everything happened was so not this past season, the season before that, after the season ended, he said he didn't want to be there anymore. He wanted to get traded from Houston, and so and let me go back a little bit. The women were from all over. There's some from Texas, some from Georgia, and mainly Texas and Georgia, right, Scotty?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wanted to get traded. Pretty much the owner was like, no, we just gave you this new contract. You're gonna stay here. And ultimately the attorney for all of the women that they, of course they kept on coming out gradually, were the same attorney is a neighbor and friend of the owner of the Houston Texans.
Ugh.
So that seems a bit fishy, right?
Very. Definitely a conflict of interest there.
But I mean, if you don't hear the whole story, or if you don't hear the story, I think people are quick to say he was wrong. Now I'm not gonna say, because if he did it, then he's absolutely wrong. He should be held accountable. But if these are accusations, and I know there's people that say where there's smoke, there's fire. But the sky's one of them. But sometimes the smoke could just be from your breath on a cold day.
Gosh almighty.
I mean, so you're right. So there's two sides of the story. I just find it real hard to believe that 22 different people will accuse you of flashing your yams or your
I don't think it was the yams. I don't think it was the yams.
Not the yams.
Oh my
Sausage.
gosh.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. It's fishy at best. You're right. It is a lot going on, but I mean, he's not going to face criminal charges. And his civil.
I believe in just speaking up, bro, because I'm a victim of sexual assault. Last year there was someone at my job that kept sexually harassing me at work, and it was the first time I ever dealt with that. And there were other women who came forward when they found out. Like, I wouldn't even talk about my business to people that I work with, because unless they were part of the process of getting the matter handled correctly, there's no point in you knowing my business. I don't find any joy in this being like something fun to gossip about. That's
Right.
not my swag. But it just, when I've in the past, a piece of me was like, well, why didn't any women just say anything? Well, I became part of that understanding of why women sometimes don't say anything. And I never thought that would be me. And this was just last May, June. So long story short, he got handled. He got handled by HR, because I'm at a point in my life and my maturity where I got a lot to lose. So I'm gonna just involve the necessary parties to handle it. But the reason why a piece of me at one time was reluctant to say anything was because I had just started the job. I was new. And naturally, a lot of people are like, they don't want to cause any trouble and stuff like that. But then I was like, hold on, that's a toxic mindset. Because if he's done that so boldly to me, I could imagine how many other women who have less of a backbone, because he didn't get past the first time with me. It was at that moment, like I literally, it got to the point where one time he got too close to me a second time, and I shoved him into the time clock, and I was getting ready to like really go in because I'm like, I told you before, stay away from me. And he didn't get the point, and he got checked in that moment. And turned out one of the girls that he had also violated was in the break room, which is right next to the time clock, watching the
Wow.
situation unfold. And she's seeing me cock back like I was really about, but I caught myself and was like, hold on, girl, you can't do this. That's jail time. Like, I'm not trying to go to jail.
Right.
So, I just got out the situation, and then later it was like, I don't want to be that person, but oh well, because this isn't my fault. This is literally somebody who he's just gotten away with it so much to where in his mind he began to believe that there was not going to be a person who was going to speak up. When I
Right.
turned out to be the person who spoke up, after him working there for several years, it was time for him to get on up out of there. There's another part to the situation. There was someone who is still at the company, who has a very powerful hand in the company, um, that made it so where his exit was very comfortable. He never got the punishment that he should have, aka
Mhm.
got terminated. Um, he actually was allowed to put in his 2 weeks. And right behind that, I heard from several of the managers of different sites that he was trying to apply to come back. So he was actually allowed to reapply at a later time. I was like, where's that in the rule book? So it was like, here it is. I spoke up. I did the right thing. I followed chain of command. I kept very good record of everything. And yet for this situation that had reoccurred, it stopped with me at that job. But there were worse situations that happened with other girls at the job. So in relation to Deshaun, if it's anybody who should have got a winner, it should have been him. I'll just say it like that. Because when money and power comes into play, um, people become very pompous, thinking that something can't happen to them until the right one steps to the plate. And then
Right.
apparently it must have just been that one girl who just caused the ripple effect to be like, you know what, I'm gonna speak up to. Because I didn't want to cause waves because this person's powerful and has money. They could cause something to happen to me. But you know what? God's got my back. He's going to continue to have my back. I'm going to do the right thing like I've been doing. And no matter how much money and power you got, the God I serve is going to always have my back. So I'm going to be straight regardless. So hopefully, if in fact this is what's happening to Deshaun, if in fact this is true, because there can always be uh, more to the story,
Mhm.
then yeah, I really do hope he gets a reality check.
So, well, first of all, sorry to hear about your situation, because that's crazy. And if
Yeah.
we got goons too. So if we need things to get handled, you know. Anyway,
We handled
I
the
got
right
along,
way, brother.
but I'll say this. I'll say this. And it doesn't happen often, but a lot of times with when you have when you have cases like that, and if it's true that he's done this to these many women, more times than not, it's gonna happen again.
Yep.
It's gonna happen again. So I'm interested to see. Maybe it was a mistake, or you never know with situations, because there's always two sides to every story, or I guess three sides. Their side, the other side, and the truth. Um, if he's like a habitual offender, like they say he is, he's gonna do it again, and it won't work out that well for him. There's no way he would get away with it if he's gotten away with it this time. Because honestly, we just don't know. We
Yeah.
don't know, and I mean, it's unfortunate. that there are women that they're men that are in positions of power, and they try and abuse that position of power, and those type of people do need to be dealt with one
Do you
way
think
or
he
the other.
did it to expect a happy ending or something?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think
Like,
he
I
did.
mean, like what else? I mean, we're not just doing it just to like show it,
Yeah,
or
so
is he? Because there's some people who were what they call them,
exhibitionist.
exhibitionists
Yeah,
that just get. We all, yeah. For people who don't know
it's,
what that is, it's for
I say
somebody
that
who likes to expose themselves and they get off on just exposing
I
themselves.
say at bare
So,
minimum, if he's not guilty, he still needs to make some life changes in how he's moving.
I
facts.
agree.
To find yourself in that situation. But I guess the question I had for you, and you kind of spoke on it. All right, so you look at like your situation where the guy got what I call the parachute landing, right? What I mean, he was able to
Hmm.
put in his 2 weeks. His reputation wasn't scarred. He's rehireable. He's able to move on. You look at Deshaun Watson, no criminal charges will be pushed on him. We don't know what the civil litigation, we don't know the outcome of that. So essentially, in both situations, if you're the victim and you look at both situations, you're like, you know what? This person really didn't get the justice that I was looking for. Do you think that deters a lot of women from kind of like speaking up or reporting people because of
Hmm.
instances like this?
Because especially the fact that the first initial person that I went to is the person who was in power, who has a lot of pull, because he is my direct supervisor, and he's the boss of a lot of bosses in the company. And for me to go straight to him, because we had he the reason why I understood how I started the job in the first place is he's one of my clients. So he was like, Courtney, I need a traveling technician. You're interested? Boom. So I had a relationship with him. It was a very uncomfortable situation. So the fact that I went to him first and then nothing happened. Like, there's details to the story that I'm just kind of like fast forwarding into like the end result. But he was the first point of contact. He said he was going to handle it. Well, apparently, either that young man did not respect his authority, or the fact that they're just in cahoots and made sure that, like you said, they made him a parachute landing to save face. And because in a lot of corporate America, when you have predominantly in some chairs men, some people call it like how Trump called locker room talk and stuff like that. They always try to minimize it, water it down, and make it seem like, oh, it's just like that harmless locker room talk. Yeah, but until it's your daughter getting bent over by some stranger and stuff like that, nobody's disturbed, But it's situations like that that are happening. But if it's something like 22 women and all of them are masseuse, like they're massage therapists or whatever, there's a level of exposure they should expect. But if they like insistently or like, here's look at me type situation, it's like, bro, put it away now. You've
Oh
had your
my
fun.
gosh, put it away
It's
now.
over.
Uh, I mean, yeah. I mean, and it's definitely it's always good to hear like the woman's point of view in regards to that situation, because at the end we're men. We both have sisters, right? So we understand how it is to treat a woman. I mean, of course, we have mothers as well. We understand how it is to treat a woman, and how you want women to be treated and things of that nature. So but actually hearing it from a woman's point of view, it always changes this. It always makes you think like, damn, well, it could have been this or it could have been that, and now I see it this way, and it still is a little weird, but you know what I'm saying. So it's always
Yeah.
different angles, and
I'm
Well,
still angry about it. It's a whole year later almost. And
mhm.
when I
As you
think
should
about it, I
be.
get a little anxiety because it was never the fact that it was never, ever handled the way it was supposed to. And ironically, we just re-signed a new harassment policy. And I'm
Wow.
like, yeah, so what's the point of this if, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. And that's where, depending on, you could be the woman and be the person who was like the offender. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's just people have a hard time doing the right thing at times. So it's only until like it happens to someone that is close to them that all of a sudden they want to care and oh my
Right.
gosh, that's crazy. Yeah. So
Yeah,
man.
that guy should have been fired. Um, and no 2 weeks, you forfeit your other stuff. If you're sexually harassing a woman in the workplace, no, I we can talk about that offline. I because that'll be a whole nother hour, in regards to that. So it's almost time for us to get out of here. Um, um, let everybody know where they could. Oh wait, before I got one more question. Before you get them your social media, everything, I got one more question. Who the ops? So who's your opposition? Who is who do you compete with in regards to your field, or are you like ain't no competition? You know what I mean? So who are who your ops? Who your ops?
So I'm glad you said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are shops and then
Mm-hmm.
there's me.
Hold
So
on, hold on one second. You ain't gonna be giving them bars, and you know what I mean. All right, go ahead, continue.
so I'm a direct form of contact.
Mm-hmm.
I am the first Black woman in the United States to have ever created, owned, and operated the type of business that I have. So I made Black history in 2019. So I'm gonna start there. Second, the reason why I have a perfect 5-star rating everywhere is because of the fact of how I handle my customers. It's easy as long as you're being honest. A lot of people are afraid to go to tech spots because they're wondering if people are lying to them.
Right,
But I mean, as far as from service to service, if we're apples to oranges, um, a lot of tech spots don't even have half of the equipment that I own. And I don't own this stuff for fun or for the aesthetics of a radio show. I have this because I'm real life under a microscope rebuilding some stuff. A lot of people like change a screen on a phone, but they can't do stuff like fixing boards on the spot. And it's a concierge repair. You call out bow. I'm gonna go ahead and get in that little red car and come down 64 and pull up wherever you are because I do the work in my car. So I have my whole setup a little similar to in here, and you could be at a football game, and I'm just in there getting it in, and then
man.
bam, we're done in 15 minutes. We're done. We're done in 15
Pissed
minutes.
I'm pissed right now, yo.
Yo,
Because
with some
2
Jack-
weeks ago, 2 weeks
You
ago,
did say
this screen
that.
right here. 2 weeks ago, this screen right here was cracked. It
Yeah.
was cracked. It had I couldn't see underneath the time, and I had to go somewhere else, and they charged me a pretty penny.
It is expensive sometimes. Like I didn't say I was the cheapest. I just said I'm the most convenient. But at the
Yeah.
same time, because I do have less overhead
Mhm.
than having a shop and stuff, I'm able to very much give better competitive prices. And you don't have to wrap up a bunch of cords and put it in the car. No, just call me, tell me when I can come and check it out, and I come ready to do whatever I need to do to either fix the situation right then and there or orchestrate a time that works for you.
All right, so I thought I had one more question, but I do have another, and this is it's a serious type of question because again, you are a woman, and I'm not saying that you can't handle yourself. Don't. But do you ever get do you ever get I don't want to say scared, or do you ever think about your safety when you're going to different
Absolutely.
places?
Oh yes. So there are certain cities that I'll just be that much more cautious about. And professionally, I have particular hours that I work in, especially depending on the season. It gets
Okay.
dark early, I end early. I don't go in homes anymore. I actually
Okay.
stopped that before the pandemic because there was a situation. And it actually was a customer that I had served quite a few times before. But a day that he just didn't seem like he wanted to do fair business. It was getting a little heated, and I was like, you know what? It's not that deep. I can actually do this from my car, and that's what I'm gonna do because my safety comes first. There's no price tag on my life and safety. So
Absolutely.
if it seems fishy, I just don't go to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I skip trace all of my customers, whether they know it or not.
Oh
I make sure. Yeah, I gotta know who you are, child. I'm not finna pull up around here, Deshaun Watson.
That's fair. That's fair.
You Deshaun Watson and stuff like, I'm not pulling up.
Look at me now.
Nah, bro, you can get me. I might touch it. I never said I was not crude. I got my listen. I'm a human being first.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Y'all weak. He turned red. Got a little red.
tell people where they can find you.
Okay, so on Instagram, it's Your Phone Lady. It's very personable. I spell everything plain English, Your Phone Lady. If you want to actually set up services, you can just go ahead and inbox me there. Same thing on Facebook. Look up Your Phone Lady. Or if you want to Google it, look up Travel Tech Repairs, and you'll see my company and that 5-star rating.
Hey, let me get this. Hold on, we gotta get some horns for the 5-star rating.
5-star.
Yeah.
Our traveling tech. Shout out to you. Thank you again for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a great conversation. And we'll definitely have you around a little bit more because we have things. I got a laptop there. I got a monitor over there. You about to work.
Well, I am taking appointments, so yes, just let me know and I'll pull up and check out whatever I need to. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Again, thank you for joining us. But it's time for us to go. So we're gonna get up out of here. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B.
All right, we out of here. We off the record. Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.